It makes me happy to talk about why I think people who have invested in XRP will get a big reward for their faith in it in this show. When we think back to 2021, it's clear that XRP did not have a boom like many other cryptocurrencies did. This was mostly because it had legal problems. On the other hand, I'm beginning to think that these legal problems are more of a trap, maybe meant to keep regular people like us from getting involved. One of the most interesting things about XRP is why it was made, especially when you think about the digital future we are moving toward. To find out about the latest XRP news, click here. News, you've arrived where you wanted to be. Before I tell you about the great news for today, I have a quick favor to ask of you. Show us some love if you like what we've done. When you click the like button, you can join our great group. Adding our station to your favorites and pressing the bell button now. Let's talk about some good news. We're about to give away a lot of XRP because we're getting close to 60,000 members. The process of joining is very easy. There are only 3 steps to follow. Learn more about it as soon as possible. You won't want to miss it. Make sure that the word money is in your poem if you want to be put into the prize drawing. What you think and say. Anyone who pays attention knows that digitization will play a big role in the coming years and that almost everything will change to a tokenized form. A close look at XRP's foundational documents, like its white paper, shows that the cryptocurrency's main goal is to make it easier to buy and sell things, not just money, in a world where tokenization is quickly spreading. When thinking about how XRP could be made to handle the moving of tokens and money based on assets, it's interesting to think about how this could be done. The answer depends on how well it works. Being able to tokenize things makes it a lot easier to carry out. On the other hand, it's possible that XRP will work with Stellar, which could be seen as XRP's less interesting sister, to make moving money and digital assets easier. Let's look at how XRP affects liquidity to get a better idea of why it might change the way money is sent. For instance, the current method needs twice as much money to make a transfer from one bank in Japan to another bank in the United States from Japan to the United States. In this situation, XRP is very important. By making a lot of money available, it could change how foreign money transfers work. This time, I am going to talk about how XRP might affect the foreign exchange market, FX market, and how open the market is. Imagine for a moment that a token like XRP released a lot of liquidity, which made it possible to make deals almost instantly. In theory, this new idea could make a market work much better. Ripple has teamed up with a lot of banking institutions because of how fast it works. It hasn't quite hit the point where it can be used in institutions yet, though. Allow me to show you an example to help you understand this. Usually, the Bank of Mitsubishi in Tokyo would need the exact amount of dollars to send 100 million yen to its office in New York and then change it into dollars. Amount of money in both currencies in both places, which would mean $200 million in cash would be tied up. Still, if this exchange could be linked to a cryptocurrency like XRP, that would be a huge step forward. Ripple's possible decision to go public is another interesting development that should be thought about. The SEC has not yet given its approval for this move. The fact that Judge Torres decided in Ripple's favor that it wasn't a security is a big step forward. This is an important change. Although it's not something we talk about very often on the show, I've been buying in XRP for a while now. When we've been together, XRP and I have had a tough time. The most recent market boom, I was able to get better returns on other investments, but the lawsuit really slowed down the success of XRP. I also think it's interesting that the XRP community sometimes shows such strong emotion that it almost looks like a devotee group. I've been too excited about projects in the past, and XRP was the same way. One big reason I don't like taking risks is the thought that some of my fans may have invested money because of my excitement and then lost it. On the other hand, new technical analysis shows that XRP may be about to experience another rise like the one it had in 2017. Things are set up in a way that makes this possible. That is about the same as how they were before the huge increase in 2017. The Hunt Volatility Funnel method, also called the HVF, has been talked about a lot on the show. And having Francis Hunt as a guest has given us a lot of useful information. His prediction is that XRP will go up in value to $116, which is a big jump from where it is now, which is around 60 cents. If this prediction turns out to be true, buyers may have won a very big battle. Why are we showing the movie today? I think it's important to bring attention to a big chance with XRP. It may sound like an old story, but there is a strong reason to think that people who have invested in XRP will soon make a lot of money. In this case, the most important thing to think about is XRP's technical structure, which seems to be going in the same direction that led to its huge gain in 2017. The fact that XRP didn't hit any new highs in 2021 is actually a good sign for the cryptocurrency. Making preparations for a possible spike like the one that happened in 2017. As someone who owns XRP, I agree with Francis Hunt's optimistic forecasts. I've spent the last year learning how he deals with the matter. It's hard to ignore the connections between the trends that happened before 2017 and the ones that are happening now. The fact that XRP could hit $16 is a strong sign that something important is about to happen. There are several things that could cause this to change, including the chance that Ripple will go public or the fact that they just bought back their own stock, which shows that they are sure of their plan. Regarding the importance of quick liquidity in today's business world, I believe you should include XRP in your portfolio. I want to admit the frustration that many people have with people who own XRP have went through. My view is the same as yours, but I think the time we've been waiting for is almost up. The long-awaited run of XRP, which could drastically change its value and position in the cryptocurrency market, is finally about to start. I'd like to talk about the idea that the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) may have been trying to keep regular people from investing in XRP because they were told to do so by higher-ups in the company.